Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over a unique item that I've already covered, but we're going over it because they've changed it for the patch 1.20, and that is Ramaladni's Magnum Opus. Those of you who will remember, I spent like freaking several days trying to farm one previously, and nowadays you can actually farm one relatively easily by going and killing someone like Grigore, which drops Ramaladni's Magnum Opus relatively easily. This particular item is pretty amazing for basic builds. In this particular patch with the vampiric powers, we have things like Moonrise, which give you a huge 160 times basic skill multiplier, which is just insane, combined with other things like Ravenous, Hectic, and other basic skill stuff. This sword has seen some pretty basic jigs. If you haven't seen my build of my Frenzy Barbarian and also my kill of Lilith with this particular character, just a very nice build all around. Now, Ramaladni's Magnum Opus is a sacred or ancestral item, but you definitely want to, as a weapon, you definitely want to find it in the highest item power you possibly can. Closer to 925, the better. It does have some pretty nice effects. So since it is a sword, it does have critical strike damage, which is 26.2% critical strike damage. It also has 24.8% damage while dual-wielded weapons, which of course you're going to dual-wield it as a, obviously it's a sword. It has 15.7 to 26.2% cap on that. We also have 35.3% damage to close enemies, which scales very nicely with the Pit Fighter aspect, or sorry, passive. You make sure you take the Pit Fighter aspect passive, because I'm calling it the same, different things. Why am I doing this? The Pit Fighter passive gives you a multiplier based on your close enemies, and it does scale off of that close damage, which is pretty nice. We also have Lucky Hit, up to a 5% chance to restore 10.5 primary resource, which does vary from 10.5 to 21%. Not particularly useful if you're going with a pure basic build that doesn't spend resource, but there are some reasons why, like for instance if you use Mighty Kick, which gives you the burn all your resource when you kick. It's kind of useful in that scenario, because then you can generate some of your resource back, which is certainly not bad. It also has maximum resource source on it, which is exactly what you need with Ramaladni's Magnum Opus, because it scales based off of your maximum resource. I got a freaking mustache here going up my nose, I swear. I don't know why I got a mustache here to go up my nose. It scales based off of maximum resource, and they also increased the amount of maximum resource scaling that you used to get. So it used to cap out at 0.3. Now it caps out at 0.4, which is amazing. So skills using this weapon deal 0.4 times increased damage per point of fury you have, but you lose 2 fury every second. All right. Now, it does require that you actually hit them with this weapon. So if you're using an ability like Hoda or something like that that requires you to use a two-handed weapon or a sword or two-handed sword or something like that, it's not going to work with those. It only works with skills that can actually utilize this sword. You have to actually swing this weapon. Now, do keep in mind, however, that because you are scaling Maximum Fury with this build, and the higher your Maximum Fury gets, the more damage you have, it does work relatively well with other abilities. So, for instance, even though you might not get the damage bonus from it, you can use it with things like Hoda, for instance, because Hoda also scales off of damage that you do. So you see 1 times additional damage for each point of fury you had while using it, right? So because you're scaling Maximum Fury, it actually does work well with other abilities that also scale off Maximum Fury. Although the Ramaladni's itself does require the bonus that it gives that you actually use that weapon, which means that, for instance, in Hoda's case, although you can get a pretty nice bonus damage with Furious Hammer of the Ancients for scaling your Maximum Fury, you're not going to get the Ramaladni's specific bonus. However, things like Mighty Kick, or Power Kick, not Mighty Kick, also spend all your Fury with a single thing and get a huge additional bonus for each point of Fury that you have as well. So that works well with the build also, because again, you are scaling Maximum Fury, and the more Fury you have, the more powerful your kick is, and so forth and so on. Now, how much would you get out of this? Well, right now I'm sitting at 243, and I could potentially pop a resource potion if I wanted to, which I don't have in here right now. But there is a 50 resource potion that you can grab. So if you ran that on a calculator, it's pretty easy. You get 243, so 243. And let's add in the 50 resource potions. So we sit around 239 resource. And as Ramalani states, it is 0.4 per point of fury that you have. So we take our 293 and we multiply it by 0.4, and we get a multiplier of 117.2 for using our Ramalani's Magnum Opus. That is a really nice multiplier that you can get for just basically having maximum resource. Now, what you generally do with Ramalani's is you combine it together with other things that are based off of maximum resource. Edge Masters is a very good example because Edge Masters gives you a 40 times multiplier based on your maximum resource as well. And this means that you get even more multiplier. So you can take your 117 and you can just add another 40 in there. And now you're sitting at like 157 multiplier based on your maximum resource, right? So it's very, very nice that you can get multiple ways to increase your damage based on basically not spending your resource. And then, of course, also, even when you kick, if you're at maximum resource when you kick, you're also going to get the Edge Masters bonus on your kick. Now, unfortunately, you don't get the Ramalani's bonus on the kick, but it's okay. It's still 30 maximum fury on a sword, and even if you're running Hoda or if you're running you know, like the power kick, it's kind of hard to turn down 30 maximum fury on a sword. It's just, I don't know, even if you were running Hoda and you weren't using Ramalani's Magnum Opus, the 30 maximum fury on the Ramalani's might actually give you more damage than a well-rolled rare in this particular case. I'm not entirely sure, but I'd have to run the numbers. But 30 maximum fury with Hoda, for instance, which gives you, what is it, 1 times per additional point of fury. So you're talking about just for wearing the sword, you're going to get a 30 times multiplier just for wearing the sword whenever you use your Hoda. So Ramalani's at this point seems like a best in slot for something like Hoda, which is going to give you a really nice bonus to the amount of freaking damage. And even Power Kick, if you're doing a Power Kick build, that's 30 maximum fury, which is going to give you, again, what is that, 30, so it's 10 per, right? It's 10 per bonus. So you get 5,248 per 10 fury, so that's like 15,000 some odd, like 16,000 additional damage added to your kick just for putting Ramalani's on. The maximum fury bonus alone makes it very interesting for a lot of characters, a lot of builds, even outside of the multiplier. So keep that in mind. The flavor text on this is, without him, the wine is less sweet, the hearth less warm, and our blades less keen. Our blood brother is gone, but Bulk Hathos willing, we will meet again one day. Sorrow Song for Ramalani. Now, Ramalani's Magnum Opus is not the only item that you would use as a Frenzy Barbarian. You also might use Battle Trance. And the reason why you use Battle Trance is because, well, it just works really well between the two. Not only does Battle Trance also have maximum fury and close damage and cooldown reduction, it also beeps up Frenzy specifically. Now, Frenzy Barbarians are based around Ramalani's, and Ramalani's also obviously wants to use Frenzy because it's just a really nice combination. You can obviously use other things, like you could use Flay. I think you can use... I'm trying to remember. I don't think you can use Bash. It's always so difficult to figure out exactly which ones use. I could always just pull up the panel and like hold my mouse over them and see, but of course I don't actually have them equipped. But basically, Frenzy is one of the best ones to use with Ramalani's, and so Battle Trance makes a very good companion item with it. It just works really well. All in all, Ramalani's Magnum Opus is been one of my favorite items in the game. Very well crafted item, I think. Very good itemization. Makes you think really hard about whether or not it's something that you want to use on your particular character. It works good for skills other than basic skills also. You can use it for things like Whirlwind. You can use it for anything that allows you to dual wield, like double swing. And as long as you're building enough resource that you're getting to your maximum resource when you're using it, then you're going to be able to get the damage multiplier as well. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just talking about Ramalama Ding Dong. And as always, keep watching.